Laura Blumenfeld, former U.S. State Department Senior Policy Advisor for the Middle East peace process. Really good to see you, Laura. Thank you so much for coming on the programme. We saw a little bit of movement on the aid crisis, but I'm sure not enough, and that's what analysts are telling us. I mean, what do you think the Trump administration's strategy is here?
Well, I do think they're trying to break that doom loop of mutual destruction, which we're witnessing. There's the pain that we can see on our screens, and of course, the pain that we can't see because the hostages who are being held by Hamas down in tunnels are completely in darkness. So I think really President Trump said today that Israel has to make a decision about what to do next. But the truth is President Trump has to make a decision because he does have leverage here. And the question is, what is his vision for Gaza? Is it, number one, a Gaza Riviera, as he said, in which case this kind of cruel wrecking ball that we're watching, this slow motion destruction of the Strip is actually leveling the ground for his vision of commercial construction of a kind of Trump casino territory. I'm not sure exactly what he has in mind, but he talked about the United States having or getting the territory. Option two is expanding the Abraham Accords, and his envoy, Witkoff, who of course is very active in the region across the globe, he's talking about by the end of the year there could be 10 new countries joining the Abraham Accords into that big tent of peace. That would be a very different direction. You'd need a kind of day after plan. You need cooperation by the ever growingly more crucial Arab states. The Gulf states, those moderate states, won't be involved unless there's some kind of recognition of Palestinian statehood.
Yeah, on Palestinian statehood, I mean, what consensus could there be in such an organization, especially when we had France last week saying that it will recognize a Palestinian state, and Trump meeting Keir Starmer, who's also under a lot of pressure domestically to do the same?
Right. And Israel's traditional Western allies, with the exception of the United States, are really struggling with this question. How can they recognize Palestinian aspirations without rewarding the terrorism of Hamas and this attack on October 7th, which is unconscionable? What can they do? So diplomacy is always it's kind of a combination of carrots and sticks, and recognizing Palestinian statehood. I reckon what France is doing is they're offering a kind of baby carrot to the Palestinians. It's symbolic, after all. There isn't a real state that's being established because they don't want to wield that big stick at this point. They don't necessarily want to sanction Israel. They do recognize that Israel's been fighting, a war on 7 fronts, and that there's no moral clarity. I think that's one of the biggest problems of all, which is why everybody's working toward release of the hostages and a ceasefire so we can move forward in a positive agenda rather than this one of destruction.
And Laura, briefly, if you can, because we are running out of time, but what do you think is going to be the next big development? I mean, are we at an inflection point, or is there still some more way to go?
Right. Well, I think we are at a fork in the road. There does seem to be a breakdown of hostage negotiations. It all depends on what Netanyahu and Trump talked about in those private meetings. Was it about amping up the military direction, or was it let's cut a deal? Israel's parliament is breaking for summer recess, so domestic politics will release some of that pressure on Netanyahu. He could go for peace now if he wants to.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for your insights. Laura Blumenfeld, former U.S. State Department Senior Policy Advisor for the Middle East peace process.
Thank you.